Welcome to Girl Dad and Popcorn. I'm Girl.
And I am Dad.
And today we're on two different sides of the city, but
Mhm.
we're still together. Dad, your side of the heart. Okay, come on. But today we're. Don't break the heart, Dad. Oh my gosh. Okay, everyone. So today we're going to be reviewing The Fire Inside. And this film was directed by Barry Jenkins, and it
Mhm.
follows the life of Claressa Shields. And she is a female boxer, phenomenal at what she does, top at what she does. And this follows her life of just a little bit of her background, her upbringing in Flint, Michigan, and the struggles that was there, even to the struggles that went into her getting into the Olympics. And it follows
Mhm.
her into being a female boxer, but it's like no one really respected it. No one really
Mhm.
respected the craft. No one really respected that area of sport because typically what you would see back then is like you would want to see volleyball players, you would want to see women who they will quote as more feminine, you know?
Mhm.
And so you're following her life and that struggle of that. And even when she gets back home, what happens now that I have this gold medal? And so that's a little
Mhm.
bit on the background of the analysis of what this movie is about. And I was actually really shocked at that because at first I thought it was going to be because like my only background to a lot of boxing movies was like the Rocky series and also Creed, and like you follow more so of like them going from fight to fight. But I was really shocked to get not only the before, not even just the during, but also the after
Mhm.
of this like time of her life, which I think was really cool. And I really love the way that Barry Jenkins fit all of that in, where the movie didn't feel too rushed, but it was like you were really seeing the fullness of what it means to be an Olympian, especially an Olympian in an area where it just wasn't as respected. So I'm
Mhm.
going to pass the mic
Mhm.
to you, Dad.
Yeah, and Barry Jenkins just, I think he did an awesome job. Of course, Barry Jenkins did Mufasa as well, which
Hmm.
I enjoyed. This was
Which
a
came
great,
out around the
yeah,
same time.
it just came out. So
Yeah.
Barry right now is hot. You know, he produced, he wrote this, and I just really enjoyed. I just want to give a shout out to Ryan Destiny, who played Clarissa, and Brian Tyree Henry. I love Brian Tyree Henry. I loved him in ATL Atlanta.
Oh my
Childish
gosh.
Gambino, and well, that's not what we call him. What's his other name? Childish
Donald Glover.
Gambino. There you go. I
Yeah.
don't know if one the government name or whatever, one the hip hop name, but I really enjoyed him in Atlanta, of course. And then he did a great job, actually, in Eternals. He was really good. So
Mm,
him and Ryan, they had great chemistry in that film. He was playing the coach Jason Crutchfield, and I just love that surrogate father, that he played between Jason and Clarissa, and it felt so real. Just how they came into how they built and developed those characters.
mhm,
It was like she was Clarissa and he was Jason. It was just awesome.
mhm,
One angle, and I think about this kind of the subtle things that was going on to me as an African American watching this film. And I wonder too, even if Barry Jenkins, in the film, I love how it opened, the cinematography with her,
mhm,
jogging and running through Flint, and in a couple of scenes, you could see the Flint water tower in the back,
mhm.
which speaks to the crisis that went on in Flint, Michigan with the water crisis. So it spoke to that. I kind of was looking also myself at the social layers, the social justice, the scene when she had made it all the way to the top,
Yeah.
won that gold medal, and her entire family, they was thinking, hey, this is our way out. And the scene was just so powerful when she was in a grocery store and she looked over her shoulder and saw Michael Phelps on that cereal box. And
Yeah.
then you think about, with Clarissa, she was not willing to really not, she wanted to be true to herself when they asked her, when she was asked, hey, why do you box? Hey, to knock people out, but they
Mhm.
were like, you need to be more girly girl. And just socially, the standard of beauty, she didn't fit that. But
Mhm.
I love the story of resilience. And she was just very resilient and
Mhm.
was not willing to give up. And how I also saw the equal pay for men and women. She fought for
Yeah.
that, and she was able to overcome that as well. It was powerful how when she went to it showed the community, the village. It was tough in the beginning because
Mhm.
just seeing how her experiencing molestation, the extreme poverty. The scene when they were about to eat cereal and there was no milk.
She was so
And
excited to get that cereal for them, and
yeah,
then she realized, like, I don't even have milk for my kids, you
so
know?
they had to drink the water. And it was just so that just spoke so deeply to me, even about the struggle in the
Mhm.
African American community and poor communities. I think that it does speak a bit to the systemic issues that's going on. Was this intentional or not intentional? I don't know. Maybe I'm reading deep into it. But even when she won the gold medal, I noticed that Barry chose not to play the national anthem. You saw the American flag. You saw her running with the American flag on her the headband she had on, or the American flag bandana. But then you didn't they didn't play the Star Spangled Banner. He had other music playing, but you could still see the flag in the back when she was receiving the gold medal. Maybe it's me, but I'm reading deep into that. I was looking and seeing that, like, this struggle going on in America, this struggle in the African American communities, and the
Mhm.
poverty, and the history with black athletes, whether it's Jesse Owens and him going to the Olympics, but then coming back and not being respected. Her going to the Olympics, winning gold, but then she's not able to get those sponsorships. So, speaking to that struggle, I think Barry may have very well been speaking to that struggle as well, with him being an African American, very subtle, speaking to the
Mhm.
misogyny, the struggle. But then she overcame her resilience and how she continued to fight. I love the music score. It was just a great, the
Good.
music I really enjoyed. Tamar Kali, she was a composer, an African American woman, composed
Mhm.
that. So it was just a great film. I enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't know anything about her story, similar to the Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan
Mhm.
film we just did. I just stepped into this film and didn't know any of the background, and
Mhm.
just say, okay, I'm gonna see how well this producer bring me into the life of this young lady that I never met.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I think Barry did an excellent job, in really speaking. That movie just spoke to the community and the village. Even though her mother, it was really difficult, and there was some parts I was like, oh, that was so trifling. But
Yeah.
then you see when they were in the pawn shop, the guy went to
Mhm.
the back and he called her mom or someone who knew her mom, and her mom was
Mhm.
there. And it was just so much empathy at that point I was feeling, because her mom, you see where her mom wasn't good at mothering, but then you can begin to see the systemic issues. Her mom, the backdrop, and trauma breeds trauma. So there are systemic
Yeah.
issues, but there are also you also have these self-inflicted issues. So it's so many moving parts in that film, but I think Barry merged them well. He
Yeah.
merged them well and showed that you can achieve that American dream. You have to
Mhm.
struggle, you have to work hard, be resilient.
Mhm.
You have so much against you, but I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed her story, and it was a win for me.
Mhm.
It was a
I
win for
was
me.
I was so shocked at how amazing this film was and how little I've heard about it. Like, I didn't even know
Hmm.
that this film was in theaters, because we were looking at different films that we wanted to review, and I was like, "Oh, wow." And
Hmm.
when I looked into it, because I know Brian Destiny from she did this one show back in the day, but even the fact that she was able to play, like, this young woman, like, she's grown, but she was
Hmm.
able to take this character and take care of this character in her youth and her innocence and the frustration of being
Hmm.
young but also being older, like that the dichotomy of like being young but also having to be an adult because there's really no
Hmm.
adult. And
Right.
so it's like, hey, I'm
Hmm.
16, but I also am like 26 because I'm having to take care
Hmm.
of my younger brother, my younger sister. Now, my sister's son, I'm taking care of my nephew. And
Hmm.
so I think what really struck my heart was how this sport couldn't just be fun for her. It
Hmm.
wasn't an opportunity where it's like, okay, I come from a affluent family, I can just have fun and do this. It's like, no, like, I got to do this not only for myself, I have to do this for
Hmm.
my city, I have to do this
Yeah.
for my mom, I have to do this now for my dad who just stepped back in out of nowhere. How
Mm.
you felt about that? When you saw her dad come back in the picture, what were your thoughts? Because
Yeah, I struggled. I struggled with that because, again, it's such a delicate thing when you look at I always it's a systemic issues
Mhm,
versus self-inflicted issues. And with dad, going to prison, they didn't really go into a lot of detail,
mhm,
but when you just look at what you see in the lower income communities, and what happens with a lot of men in the community, and that issue of fatherhood and fathers being absent. And
mhm.
it's so much. Again, I was a bit leery of him, like, why you coming now? But he
Yeah.
just got out of prison and he wanted to support his daughter. So
Mhm,
again, I kind of warmed up to his character because I just have a lot of empathy for for the hood and people that grow up in these conditions and
mhm,
make bad decisions, but then there are things there to lure them into making those bad
mhm,
decisions. And I thought he was really just trying to be a good dad, and he
mhm,
wanted to break that cycle of poverty.
mhm.
It was, I warmed up to his character. I really did.
I
And
definitely did towards the end as well. Mhm,
I warmed up. And I think another powerful, that I did know, I learned that the character, Jason Crutchfield, brought to her attention. He was like, do you know why it's called Flint, Michigan? And he talked
yeah.
about the Flint stone and the river, and it was named after the Indians, and Flint is an actual rock, and,
Mhm,
and they use it to cut. I think he was saying, and how strong it is, and that's who she was. And he was saying that's who we are.
mhm,
We are a resilient and strong people. And
mhm,
even though the Flint rock is in the
mhm,
water, that water that's the controversy behind, not the controversy, but that brought death to many of the people, because the water was the whole crisis and everything that happened. It wasn't handled right. Systemic
yeah,
issues behind that as well. But you have those strong rocks in that city that, regardless of even the water being damaged, there's still people that came, people that they're resilient people, a resilient community. And it was a feel good film, that was very encouraging, because you're from a tough spot don't mean that you still can't make it to the top. So
mhm.
it
And I
was
think
good
it
stuff.
even speaks to the ordinary person where it's like
Hmm.
your voice matters
Yeah.
in the lives around you and to like
Hmm.
just live more outward because think about it like she came from this home that was like, her mom had these men coming in and out the house who, she
Hmm.
was blah 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 and it's like she just had to deal with so much trauma but the voice of one man the
Hmm.
voice of Jason Crutchfield took
Hmm.
her from being a girl who probably would have ended up with teen pregnancy or whatever,
Hmm.
because remember, he told her, he was like, you need to focus. We are not focusing on boys
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
That's another thing that gets a lot of
Hmm.
young women in lower income areas and even higher income, everybody. But
Hmm.
it was just so beautiful because it's like where there was an absence of a father, another father stood in. And
Hmm.
I really loved their marriage as well, like Mrs. Crutchfield. I just
Hmm.
really loved her character because it was no jealousy of why are you spending time
Hmm.
with this young girl. It was like, no, like, oh, you're about to be her dad. I'm about to be another mother to her. We're about to come together and bring up our
Hmm.
people. And so I just even encourage you all watching, like, if you see a little young man in your neighborhood or even somebody grown or somebody, a cashier, it's like you can be that voice of reason that pushes them to choose to go towards the
Hmm.
better because it was almost like Clarissa had this unlocking within her from Jason Crutchfield's
Hmm.
character. And like their chemistry was just insane,
Hmm.
top notch.
Yeah.
Brian Henry, like if I can be honest, I think he's one of the top actors out here because the fact that he can go from Paperboy, then to
Hmm.
go to like sci-fi. I think he was
Hmm.
in Godzilla, like one of the
Yep.
Godzillas. Then
Yep.
to this, it's like he is
Transformers. He did Bullet Train. Yeah,
he
Brian
is
is a
so
he has a lot of range, a lot of depth, and I think he was just a perfect fit for that character
yeah.
too, even breaking the stereotype of black men not being absent because at the end of the day he had structure. Him playing that character, he really brought that
Mhm.
out. His passion,
He loved
his
his wife.
acting skills, his
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, his movement, his facial expressions. I just love everything about Brian. He's phenomenal, and I love the village. You talked about that too, because with his wife, I thought that was powerful when I saw his wife at the house, at Clarissa house, and Clarissa mom was like, it was a village. They were all, it wasn't no hate going on.
Mm-mm.
And that was just beautiful. I just love that. I really did.
We need more of that. I feel like we've
More
gone
films like this,
through
more stories.
and just like even actual life, you know what I mean? Like I feel like
Hmm.
we've just tapped into this individualism and it's really
Hmm.
hurting so many people where we do have a lot of single mothers in society and I feel like a lot of them feel that stress and that burden but it's because they're not supposed to be carrying it on their own like
Hmm.
because back in the day like even in the 70s and the 80s you'll have those grandmas who will sit on the front porch and be looking out and okay come over here
Hmm.
baby I know your mom ain't getting home from work soon come on God I'll feed you come on and it's like this
Hmm.
like thing where we're not solely depending on just one person, but there's wisdom and many teachers along the
Hmm.
whole way. And I just feel like that's such a beautiful thing
Hmm.
to incorporate. And I'm not saying like just start bringing everybody up in your house and stuff, but even just
Well,
like a nice smile to, somebody walking down, like just doing that. Okay.
community. Look at that
Yeah.
word, community. It means to commune. But
Hmm.
let's get to this review.
Let's get to the review.
Yeah.
All right.
You going first? I'm going first.
Okay. Okay, I'll go ahead and go first.
Mm-hmm.
So my review, if I can be real, we do 1 out of 4, and 4 being that I would pay for you to go see it. And I actually would go pay for you to go see this film. And the reason why is it moved me to tears. And specifically the part where Clarissa, she was fighting in London and Jason Crutchfield's character, she couldn't hear him. She couldn't hear her coach, she couldn't hear that voice. And it was I just started bawling my eyes out because he started running down and the lady got him access and he
Hmm.
started running down and then he was
Yeah.
like, okay, go to the left, go to the right. And she started fighting. And I don't know, like, for me, it just gave me the picture of like, like when the Lord is like speaking, when that he was like he runs towards us, and I was just like, and it was just really good. Anyway, but I think it was a very rich story. I love the way that it was directed. It wasn't cheap at all. It was like you got to see the full and the real story. You got to see that it was like he didn't try to beautify it at all. He was like, here's how it is. Like, sis was ready to pawn her gold medal. Like, I can't eat. And I think it's really important to tell stories how it is. And I really do believe that Barry Jenkins, he did it. Like, he had Lion King coming out and he did this. And when I tell you he didn't be like, okay, well, let me focus on Lion King because this one's like the headlining. Like, no, he brought just as much love, just as much respect to the story of Clarissa T Rex. So I would say I would buy your ticket. How about you? What would you say, Dad?
Hmm. Yeah, I'm landing in the same place. It's a
Yeah.
four for me, and I love what you just. It's a four because I think, of course, it was written well, produced well. Love the just the camera movement, even with the boxing scenes. Um, just the sound, um, everything, the acting, the story itself, and what you just said is so. I want to just go a little pull more out of that.
Yeah.
Deliverance, victory lies in listening to the voices of those who know you, the
Mm,
village, the community, your surrogate fathers. She was listening to the voice of a stranger, but when she heard the voice of her community, the voice
of a
of,
father.
of a father who knew her to encourage her, she experienced victory.
Hmm.
So, yes, I would pay for people to go see this film, regardless of your genre, your ethnicity background. Great film. I think for young black girls and black boys as well. It's just a great film to go see. Yeah, it was good. I'm giving it a four.
This was Girl, Dad, and Popcorn. This was Girl.
I am dad.
All right. And we'll see you for our next one.